Okay, this is going to be a basic tutorial on how to polish up like some really low end graphics, especially when you're talking about for the backs of shirts for like say sponsorships. Um, so we're going to take this really low res little logo and we need to make it decent enough to use, I guess. And it's just going to be end up being like a little 2-inch graphic on the back of a shirt. Of course, this is all the event person was provided, so it's all they have and can go with. So it's just not a lot that can be done with it other than work with what you got and make it happen. But it also doesn't have to like be insanely great because it's going to be tiny. Okay, so first thing, let's just cut it on down and get rid of all this garbage that we don't need. So let's start with something like that. And just chop it down. Okay, now let's see just how crappy this darn thing is. Let's go to image size and try to upsample it a little bit. Yeah, exactly. Width is big. Resolution's horrible, so it's something somebody pulled off the internet. Let's bump that automatically up to 3. Width doesn't have to be anywhere close to that. So let's say 4, which will still be bigger than our final print size. So that's more than acceptable. Okay, now let's get rid of some crap that, so we're going to grab wand tool and just see like what we can select very easily and see what will come out. Okay. Well, I need to unlock the background layer, but I'm going to see what exactly I could pull out of this. Okay, that did an okay-ish job. Gosh, the edges are still really garbage. So let's select a color range and go in here and see if we can pull out some more. Okay, that gets us a little bit more. Of course, we can slide this fuzziness up and down, but it'll start taking out a ton of stuff that you don't want it to also. Okay, let's also delete that. And then Command D to deselect. There is still a ton of garbage in there. So let's do that same thing again. Select color range and let's just get it like in here on this. Just go up a little bit more and do the same thing again. Delete, backspace is what I use all the time for stuff like that. Okay, now we're getting to, semi-acceptable range. That's relatively close to what we want, I suppose. It's still not great, but it's okay. So, next thing we want to do is let's put a layer over this and get rid of all this colors and shading and all this stuff because we really don't want that. So you're going to go to layer style, color overlay, and let's just make that black. Okay, great. Now again, we're getting somewhere. So we could take this, I suppose, and save it as it is and maybe image trace it and that'd be okay. Again, this isn't going to be great. I'm going to crop this down a little bit more no matter what, but this is a lot better already and a lot more usable or printable just like this. So final thing, let's bitmap this so we can throw it in an Illustrator file with a whole bunch of other stuff. But this is, relatively acceptable considering the final thing is going to be super duper tiny. So we are going to go to image mode grayscale. Yep, click discard, doesn't matter for this. Image mode bitmap, flatten layers, yes. Input 300, output 300, yes. Halftone, yes. Let's make this 300 DPI or 30 DPI for this, 61 at your angle, shape, ellipse. There's probably not going to be a lot of halftones, so it doesn't really matter. It's going to be pretty solid. And then we can zoom in and out and see like what we do or don't have. Okay. This is probably acceptable, honestly, right here. But we do got some little garbage pieces in there. So we're going to Command Z this a couple times to get ourselves back to where we started. Okay. Let's take this layer and let's change the curves on it to get it a deeper, darker, bold, and let's get rid of some of that little stuff that was in there. This is what's considered a Z curve, basically. It's going to make it a good, deep, dark black. Okay, so let's try this again. Image mode, grayscale, good. Make sure you're selected on the layer, not the curves layer. I can also flatten this down too if I want. If you're ever like worried that, oh, I'm getting something in there I shouldn't have, you can flatten it. I've done that from time to time just because I'm paranoid. Image mode, bitmap, flatten layers again. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, better. We're getting some of these things out of here. Still not completely perfect. Command Z, a couple more times. And you can make this super tiny. And you can go in and start cleaning up some of that stuff that's still showing up in there. It's kind of just however much time you want to spend on it and, you know, what the job dictates. But, you know, that's the basics of it right there. And then once you have it, whatever you're going to deem acceptable enough for the job, for the quality, for the whatever. Okay, great. Save that, call it good. You know, and that's going to be what you're going to do. You are literally polishing a turd here. So there's only so much you can do with it. Don't lose your mind, though, because it's going to be super tiny. And that's it.